Hello my friends, here we are. This lesson is the part one of learning about power chords. So what are power chords first of all? So a power chord is a kind of a rock guitar chord shape that you use. It's the actual shape stays the same, so there are two things we need to learn. First of all, how to play the shape, and secondly how to move it around so we can change that one shape into lots of different chords. So what they sound like, got here, I know most of you rock guys won't be playing Telecasters, but this is a fairly meaty sounding telly as far as they go. It's this kind of... It's that kind of quite a big, kind of fat, meaty rock sound is what we're kind of going for here. So really what it is just three notes that you play each time. And these notes would be what's called the root note, the fifth of the chord, and then the octave. So we're actually only playing three notes every time. Now some power chords are only played with two fingers, but I'll explain that a little bit later on. So the first things that you need to know about is this root note idea. So I really advise that you watch this video through my webpage. So if you're not on my webpage now, if you're just at YouTube, you'll find it a lot easier if you go to the website, because then you'll get to see like the little neck diagram of the chords and the tabs and all that sort of stuff. So I'd advise you, if you're not there now, maybe nip off to the website, find the same lesson. So what we've got to check out is this the root note idea. So if you have a look at the little diagram there, you'll see that of the three notes that make a power chord, the lowest note on the sixth string is called the root note, and the note that we place that root note on becomes the name of the chord. So if I put this power chord here at the third fret on the sixth string, the thicker string, is the note G. So if I play that power chord shape there at the third fret, it becomes a G power chord. Sometimes power chords are referred to as 5, so this would be written G5. Sometimes it's just written G and you play a power chord. Different people, different ways of writing it down. So that would be G. Now if we move that whole the shape up again and put it on the fifth fret, so our first finger was in the fifth fret of the sixth string, that's the note A. So that would make it an A power chord, or an A5. And if we move it up to the seventh fret, would be a B. Up to the eighth fret would be a C. Now of course it's also useful if you understand your sharps and flats, knowing that flat always goes down, like a flat tire makes the car go down, or the tire go down. So if we were on A, which is at the fifth fret, and then we want A flat, we'd go fifth fret and we'd go flat, like lower, down to the fourth fret, and we'd have A flat power chord. Same with sharp. If you sit on something sharp, you jump up. So sharps make the sound go up. So if we had F, which is at the first fret, if we wanted F sharp, we would go up one fret from F to F sharp, and that would be at the second fret. So the next thing you need to know is you need to get a bit of a close-up and make sure that you know how to place your fingers. So let's go to that now. Okay, so here we are at this is the third fret just here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm putting my first finger down on the third fret, making sure of course it's nice and close to the fret, because that's the good place to position your finger. Then you're going to reach out with your third finger and put that 2 frets higher, so it's going to be in the fifth fret of the fifth string, and then little finger will sneak in underneath that one, so getting both of them as close to the fret as you possibly can. Remember to try and kind of keep these two locked together a bit, so they're kind of pressing together. That helps you keep the shape when you start moving it around a lot. So that will be your G5 power chord. Now the thing here that's really important to realise is that the rest of the strings, the other three strings, are not sounding. That's really important, because if you're like trying to just play those three notes and you've left the other ones open, you're going to get those open strings ringing out, and especially with a lot of distortion it'll sound really horrible. I want you to look here at my first finger. Now it's not pressing it down like it's a bar chord, right? It's just touching the strings, just down here. So the first finger's pressing down only that note, and all of the rest of it is kind of a bit rounder than normal, and it's actually just keeping those strings completely muted, so that there's no sound coming out of those strings at all. Let's try and make sure that that finger there is nice and muting the string. So if I play with I'll turn the distortion back a little bit so you can hear. So a G power chord, which is here at the third fret, should sound like, and then, so there's three notes there, and the top three completely muted. It's really important. otherwise the shape is pretty cool. It's okay too to have that finger extended off. The second finger kind of sits up like that, sometimes it sits down like that, it doesn't really matter. The important thing is that the first finger is doing those mutes. So you've got the mutes happening and you've got the shape happening. The next thing you need to do is start to practice a little bit, just moving that shape around a little bit. Now there's a really common kind of riff that you can use for this, which is the Smells Like a Teen Spirit kind of chord progression. Now I'm going to show, this isn't the way to play it off the record, this is just an exercise for you to get used to it. Now, to get used to the power chords and keep them moving around. Now, remembering what I said about how important it is to keep those thin strings moving, I mean, if you wanted to be really careful, you could make sure that you only pick those 3 strings, the thickest 3 strings that the fingers are on for the power chord. But let's face it, if you're doing a gig, especially like playing like a rock gig like the Foo Fighters and Nirvana or whatever, you don't want to be sitting there staring at your guitar and checking out the picks. There's going to be like hot chicks to look at and stuff, you know. It's not, you don't want to be staring like this. So it's really important that you get to the point so you can really, like this hand, your strumming hand can bash all of the notes and it doesn't matter, and it keeps the power chord nice and clean. So if we use Smells Like a Teen Spirit as an example, this has only got 4 chords, and this isn't the way that they play it on the record. This is just an example for you to get your chords moving around. I will be doing a lesson on this song really soon, because it's a rocking song and it kicks ass for learning power chords. But it's got the basic chord progression is just going F sharp to B to A to D. Now I'm going to call out what frets they're on, but I want you to check out on my website, there's a little chart that shows you where the different root notes are, because all you're doing is moving that one power chord shape up and down and changing the root note, which is the lowest note of the chord in this case. So F sharp is at the 2nd fret, B is at the 7th fret, A is at the 5th fret, and D is right up at the 10th fret. Now even if you just do 2 strums on each one, then it kind of sounds pretty meaty if you're playing the chord nice, making sure that you get those, muting those extra strings. That's the most important bit there. So if you check that out, this out as a kind of a sequence, just to get used to your power chord and get used to your mute, and then I'll show you a better way to play it in the power chords part 2. But try and get these ones down first. So just to show you here again, so this is going from F sharp, turn my volume up there, F sharp, add in, if you're competent at rhythm guitar and you want to try and do the rhythm for it. Funny wobbly ending from me, but anyway. So that's just an exercise for you. There's loads and loads of other songs that you could use to practice this. A good one that springs to mind is All the Small Things by Blink 182. That's only using the power chords of C, G and F, which is 8th fret, 3rd fret and 1st fret. Again, they don't play it exactly like that, but that's not a bad way of practicing it, with it starting with the C, G, small things, F, G, back to C and down to It's a really straightforward little riff, you know, and it only uses those 3 chords. So maybe you should transcribe it yourself. Might not be a bad plan. Anyway, so have a muck around with those. Make sure that you get the technique right. Don't forget to check out where the root notes are on my website, and I'll see you in a little bit for Power Chords Part 2. See you, dudes.